Hi, how you doing? And welcome back to another video on the channel. Hopefully your first game week in FPL is going as well as it possibly can be. We're going to have a review and preview of Game Week 2 video coming out in the next few days, as well as a transfer and wildcard video. So keep an eye out for those and let's get into it. So our first video today is going to be about players that you think, you're considering getting in your team, but maybe you're going to take a points hit for them, or maybe you're not necessarily you're going to use a transfer for them. And it doesn't mean that they're bad players. And some of these players are really good, but it's maybe not worth decimating your team for or taking a points hit just to knee jerk and get them in. So let's have a look at the first player. And we're going to talk about Johnston from Crystal Palace. Now, for me, people are thinking of getting him in because he kept a clean sheet in his first game. And there are only three teams that did keep a clean sheet in the first game week. I think it was Fulham, Palace, and Man City. Everyone else conceded. So you're going to look at the goalkeepers with the most points, and he's going to be up there. Now he is only 4.5 million, but for me the catch is that he played Sheffield United, and if you didn't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United, you're going to be in bother. Palace are a team, especially with some of the fixtures coming up. They're not always going to keep clean sheets. So whilst he's loaned and 4.5 million, I wouldn't be getting him in, especially because, making a keeper transfer at this stage of the season, I wouldn't advise that because there's probably going to be other areas of your team where you can get, a bigger points increase. You look at someone like Saka or Haaland. I know you've probably got them already, but the point difference between them and another midfielder could be as much as 10 points. Whereas the difference between Johnston and another keeper might be 4 or 5 points. So the scope for extra points is much higher further up the pitch. And with that in mind, I would also possibly talk about Leno from Fulham in here as well, because over 40,000 managers have put him in already, but they have Arsenal, Man City, and Brentford in the next three, and you've got to think like you can't go chasing points. Like these players are 4.5 million for a reason because they're not always going to keep clean sheets. If that was the case, there'd be higher price range. So that clean sheets happened. There's nothing you can do about it. So I just wouldn't use a transfer to get in a keeper in general, but especially not someone who's a bit deceptive with the amount of clean sheets they're going to get. The next player we've got is Mitoma from Brighton. Now, he's been transferred in by over 50,000 managers already, which might not seem like a load, but the game week's not even finished yet. So you don't even know. Like you might have, Rashford in your team might get injured tonight playing for Man United, and then you've already used your transfer on Mitoma. So I've actually extended the amount of fixtures that I've got for Brighton here because I think as well, if you were going to have a Brighton player in your team, you've not missed the boat, but you would have got them in for game week 1 with Luton at home. I think if you get them in now, yeah, you've got maybe Wolves you think are going to do quite well against Wolves and Bournemouth in there, but there's a lot of tough fixtures out there. We've extended the fixtures there to game week 8 and 9 because Liverpool, Man City, that's worth taking note of. He is very highly owned, and Brighton do have a lot of attacking options there. I think, they've scored 5 goals. That obviously shows they've got great attack. It doesn't mean Mitoma's not going to score points, but I think there is that scope for a bit of rotation mixed with some tough fixtures. What if he's rotated out, for like the West Ham game, say, and he's brought in against Newcastle, and it's like, well, he's maybe played 20 minutes against West Ham and started against Newcastle, but it's been a tough game and they're not getting the points they want. So I would just maybe avoid looking at Mitoma when there's other good midfielders, um, you know, like Mbuemo, like Madison, even that you could get in instead. Our third player on the list is Alexander Isak. Now, he's the first player that has gone up in price. He's gone from 7.5 to 7.6. Now, he will score goals this season. This isn't about don't get him in at all. This is like don't get him in now necessarily because Newcastle's fixtures are pretty tough. Man City away, Liverpool at home. It's also about he's got time to compete against Wilson as well. So he started in the first game, but he did come off, I think, in the 68th minute, give or take, and Wilson came on. And I think, he's someone that could score, but sometimes he's not going to start. And it's really what do you want from your attacker? Do you want, goals when he does play, or do you want him to play all the time? For me, I think there's other options that you can have. Maybe if you moved off someone like, Nkunku who's injured to Isak, yeah, that's okay. That's a good shout. But I wouldn't necessarily be taking a points hit to get Isak in because I think maybe you're thinking he's going to score 2 goals every game, and that's not the case. And that's really hard to resist sometimes because you think, oh, what if he does it again? But really, it's the case of, well, there might be other strikers that you could get in, or maybe your striker you've already got in could do what Isak did next game week. Like, don't just be blinded by the highest point scorer in one game week. It's such a small sample size. And so many managers have already transferred him in. I'd just be a bit cautious about doing that. His price has already gone up. So if you've not transferred him in yet, you've missed out on that price rise. So that initial bump up in price is probably gone now. Very unlikely to go up in price again over the next few days, I would say. So I would maybe just wait and just see and just have a bit of strategy and a bit of planning. Maybe get him in after game week 6 once they've had a bit more of a bigger sample size. You can see who's going to start more between Isak and Wilson. Yeah, so our next player on the list is Rodrigo. Now he has also been transferred in by a lot of people. 166,000 transferred managers have transferred him in. Yeah, Man City's fixtures look good, but he's a sort of player that's not going to get a goal and assist every game week. Like, he's not going to score, what was it, 12, 13 points every game week. I know he's only 5.2% owned, but the amount of managers that have transferred him in show that there is a bit of traffic to getting him in. I think he takes up a Man City slot, and whilst he is probably going to be playing more often than not, I think it's what do you expect from the player that you're getting in. If you're expecting, you're getting Rodri in because you're thinking, oh, I'm sick of mixing it up with Grealish and Foden and whoever. I just want someone that's going to start for Man City. That's great, get him in. If you're getting him in because you think he's going to get a goal and assist every game week, you're going to be disappointed. So keep that in perspective. He is a great price, so maybe it's in giving you some transfer funds to get someone a bit more expensive. But he is taking one of 3 Man City slots in your team that you maybe want to have a bit of flexibility with as the season moves forward, especially with the great run of fixtures that are coming up. Our last player on the list is going to be Mo Salah. Now, he has been transferred in by over 60,000 managers already. And yeah, he got an assist and he does look dangerous. And he probably is Liverpool's, you know, main attacking threat in the sense of he's going to start no matter what. But he did get taken off early. And I don't think that's going to affect him. He was disappointed to get taken off. I don't think that's going to affect whether he starts the next game week. He'll absolutely start. But for me, it's the price. It's how expensive he is that really matters to me. And I think at 12.5 million, there's so many good midfield options at like 6.5, 7 even. Maybe even 7.5 or you look at Saka or Martinelli, something like that. And you're saving about 4 million there. I just don't think that there is the need to spend the extra on Salah at the moment. I think maybe when Liverpool have sorted out the lineup a bit more and you can work out who he's going to be playing up against and all of that, I think, yeah, maybe get him in, but I wouldn't necessarily destroy your team to try and get in another premium attacker like Salah. It's a bit like Matoma. I think if you're going to have Salah in your team, you'd already have him in game week 1. So you made the decision not to put him in before game week 1, and he's going to get attacking returns. It's like, oh, Salah's assisted and nearly scored, so I absolutely must get him in now. It's like, well, that can't be a surprise because you were thinking of, when you were thinking about getting him in or not. It wasn't like he was going to score 5 goals all season and get 5 assists all season. He's probably going to get 15 and 15 or something like that. But it's more just about, can you recreate those goals and assists elsewhere for a better price? I think you probably can. So I'd just be a bit cautious about getting Salah in. So that is our video for today. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you for all the support we've had so far in the pre-season. Love to keep it going now the season's underway. Let me know what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Any questions you've got about your own team? I will get back to you in the comments. And all the support is fantastic. So thank you so much for that, and I will see you in the next one.